So I think so. How do you? I'm streaming it right now. Like, how do you invite? If I wanted you to see the stream, how will I invite you to it? So how would I invite you to the stream? Because I'm streaming now. I just don't know how to. Do you have to come in?
Yeah, I'm not gonna join.
Okay. Well, this is I was gonna show you the different. Huh?
What is that?
Oh, this. Yeah, that's a long story. I don't want to really. That's a long story right there. That's a very long story as to why he's there. But there's also his brother right there. but but yeah, I just wanted to show you the weapons. These are all the weapons for Bloodborne. These are all the weapons for Bloodborne. All of them have different like features to them. So you got the first one, you got like the saw cleaver. This is the weapon that you start off with in the game, or you choose to start off with the game. And every weapon has a trick feature. So by pressing L1, you can have like, you can activate like a trick feature in it. The trick feature is that it extends for the saw cleaver, so it has higher reach and more damage to it, but it has like slower recovery and stuff like that. But the thing about trick weapons is that you can combine them with attacks. So you can do R1, which is the regular swipe, and you can tap R1 with the trick in order to, you know, do a combination. So you can do R1 trick, and you can do it like that. You can also do like dash attacks, like something like that, or you can even charge them up to do like a swipe. So that's the saw cleaver. The hunter axe is basically an extended axe. So it's like the trick with the hunter's axe is that you can do that to extend it and extend its reach, and it deals greater damage with like certain R2 attacks or R1 attacks. You can charge it up for a spin, like something like that. You can do like a leaping attack, dash back, do like a swipe, something like that. Let's see. The threaded cane is like a whip, but a cane at the same time. So it kind of acts as like a rapier, but it's really just like, but it could transform into a whip. So you can do like, this is the regular R1 attacks, and this is the R2 attacks is a thrust. And with the trick, it turns into a whip. So you saw him like switch it back. It can turn into a whip, and you could just, yeah. and now we're getting into the weapons that I think you'll like. So the beast cutter. So the beast cutter is basically a club. It acts like the threaded. It acts like the threaded cane, but it's a club. So it has you can bludgeon people and stuff like that, and just swing it around and just cause like some heavy damage. But what makes it unique is that it also has the properties of a threaded cane, the one that I just showed you previously, but it's a heavier version of it. So the trick weapon is this. So you can switch it to the whip mode, and now you can, like, it has massive reach.
Oh.
And that's the... So you got... yeah. So you could do that and then switch it over. Or something like that. It's a very devastating weapon, especially if you got the right type of build for it, because its reach is ridiculous. Its reach is real ridiculous. And it's very hard. It's
punches right in the mouth.
The next weapon is the burial blade. This is my favorite weapon. This is personally my favorite weapon right here. This is the weapon that you get from the final boss from Gurman, the one that you help Austin fight. This is the weapon that he was using. And it has like, the trick weapon is that, the first weapon is that it's a regular curved sword, because you're using...
Doesn't that turn into a scythe?
Yeah, it turns into a scythe, but that's its trick. Like, its trick mode is the scythe mode. So it's like, you switch it and it turns into a scythe. And this weapon is personally my favorite weapon. So it has like, it's basically a real devastating scythe. Its attack properties, all of that. It's R2. If you charge as R2, the range on the R2 can be really deceptive. So it has massive reach once it's fully charged, like something like this. And it hits like a lot. Like if you're being swarmed by a group of enemies, like it just swipes all of them away.
It takes a lot of stamina though.
Yeah, it takes a lot of stamina, but the attack is crazy. And like by the time the person even recovers from that type of blow, like your stamina will be recovered.
So can you get your stamina bar as long as the health bar?
Yeah, you can build it like that if you want. Like I said, it's pretty much like Dark Souls, where you can build whatever type of character you want. You can have a high stamina usage type of character and low health, or you can have both. You can just put both into it and not worry about like strength or dex or anything like that. I wouldn't recommend it, but yeah, you can build your character any way you want. But this is the burial blade. This is my personal favorite weapon. The next one is Blades of Mercy. So Blades of Mercy are two daggers, right? In its regular default mode, it just serves as a regular dagger. There's nothing really too interesting about it. What's interesting about it is its transformation stage. So it switches into 2 daggers. It breaks apart, and you can just go ham on a nigga. So you can just do and just slice him to death and just cut him up. Just turn him into confetti. Just like
Swing.
yeah, and it's like if you do this to like an opponent, like a human opponent, then these are why these blades are considered overpowered. In my opinion, I don't think they are, but a lot of people consider them overpowered because once you get caught in this string of attacks, you can't really recover out of it. Like you're in a stun lock, and it's just going to keep on until the player runs out of stamina or until you die. The R2, no, I'm sorry, the L2 is a swipe dash back. So you can swipe them and build up some space between them. The R2 is a swipe forward. So you can combine the two together and you could do like a swipe back with a swipe forward. Of course you got the dash, which is like the jump attack. And it switches back. The next one is the church pick. So the church pick is really not that interesting of a weapon. It's just a pickaxe pretty much. When it's in its regular phase, it's just a spear, so you can just thrust them. It's pretty strong, but it's not very interesting. Its transform phase is basically that. It's a pickaxe, and you can just like it has the same type of attacks as if you were using one.
And legs.
The next one, the next one that I think you'll really like is the Kirk hammer. The Kirk hammer is basically a sword and hammer at this dual weapon. Its regular phase is the sword attacks. So it's R1 for the regular sword swipes and thrusts, R2 for the regular sword swipe and thrust. But this is where it gets interesting. Its trick weapon is that you can plant the sword into the hammer to make the handle, and it turns into a hammer. So it's like boom, and then it turns into a hammer. And yeah, you can pretty much charge your weapon.
Glow.
I personally like this attack pattern. Like it's R1 followed by L1 followed by another R1. I mean another L1. So it's R1, L1, L1. The Ludwig Holy Blade or Holy Sword it's kind of like the Kirk hammer, but it's just a really big sword. It has the regular R1's attack similar to the Kirk hammer. In fact, it's the same as the Kirk hammer. But the L1 transformation, it turns into the bigger sword. So you have wide range swipes, thrust.
Hello.
So you have that. Pretty good weapon. It's a very popular weapon people use. the holy moonlight sword is, this is like the real version of the one that I showed you previously just now. This is like the real version of it. So it's kind of like a throwback to the Dark Souls games, because in the Dark Souls you had a very popular sword called the Moonlight Great Sword, and this is pretty much what it is. So by default, it's just a regular long sword. Like you have a thrust, you have a swipe, but its transformed state, it turns into the Moonlight Sword. So this is literally like the sword from Dark Souls, like the Dark Souls series, that they put in for like fan service and stuff like that. So if you press L1, it turns into the Moonlight Greatsword, and it has like faster swipes, longer range. It's R2. Is it R2? Yeah, it's R2 launches a shockwave. L1 launches like a live stream type of look, like move. Its thrust is like a piercing. And this is Simon's Bowblade. Simon's Bowblade is just a regular, well, it's not a regular, but it's a curved sword. It has like a spin attack for the R1 for charging. The interesting thing about it though is its transformation. So it's a sword that transforms into a bow.
Into a bow?
Yeah. So it's a curved sword. When it has a trick transformation, by pressing L1, it turns into a bow. So you can, yeah.
You get infinite ammo with it?
No, it uses your bullets. It uses your bullets. Every arrow uses your bullets. But you can do like a combination of attacks, like R1 into the bow. R1 bow. But yeah, you can combine that together. This one is not really that interesting. It's a rapier, which is also a gun when transformed. So you can swipe and then, but you can also fire the gun. Let me see if I can do it. Yeah, you can do it like that. The Shikage, which is another personal favorite of mine. The Shikage is a katana, but it attacks are based on your blood levels in the game, because when you press L1, it puts it inside the sheath, and it raises your attack power, but it also drains your health. So you see my health bar going down? Mm-hmm. If you're not careful, it could probably kill you. So it's best not to have it on for long. But it raises your attack based on your blood level in the game, which is a stat. So depending on how much your blood level is, it will increase the attack power of it. So it scales based off of that. And of course, pressing the L1 again will stop it from draining your health, and it will go back to its normal state. The thing that I like about it is its attack, like its different attacks. So it's like you have the thrust, and then this is my favorite, the charge with that. That's my favorite one.
Swipe.
But it drains your health a lot, so you just got to be careful when using it. The Rakuyo is a double-bladed sword. with a dagger at the end of it. So it serves as a two-bladed sword by its R1. When transformed, it turns into a double blade. So you can do like spin attacks, thrust attacks, combinations, different combinations with it you can perform. But it's a double blade that transforms. It's a two-sided blade that transforms to a double blade. The rifle spear is exactly what it is. It's a rifle with the elements, with the attacks of a spear. So its first ones are like thrust. Then in transformed, it's a spear and like a rifle or a shotgun if you want to. Then there's a thrust for it. You can do like a combination of attacks, so you can do boom, boom, and then blast them. The stake driver, I'm gonna have difficulty explaining what this is, but I'm just gonna let you see what it does. So the trick, this is the trick weapon. It like cocks back, and but it has lower range. So it's like a fist. It's like a fist weapon. And when it's like in its default stage, it serves as like still a fist weapon, but has higher range but lower attack. This is where it gets kind of interesting. Now when it's in its trick form, you hold R2 and it charges. So you notice like it's almost kind of like a cannon. So you like cock it back, and I want you to pay attention to what happens at the at the end of this. So you see it. Yeah, so you see it like a, yeah.
Have you hit anybody with that charge with that?
Yeah, I have. It's satisfying, I ain't gonna lie. It's satisfying as hell. Like what's best is if you parry someone with it. Like if you parry a player, and instead of going for a visceral attack, you just charge right in front of them.
There's nothing that they can do.
Yeah, there ain't nothing they could do. They're not getting out of that. Yeah. And then you got the boom hammer. The boom hammer is kind of like just very like similar to the other weapons I showed you that can like bludgeon people. But its transformation state, it turns into like a it turns into a fire hammer with its transformation. So you can, by pressing L1, you see the flame right at the end of it. So it's like, I guess it's like powered by coal or some shit by the trigger. So it's like you can move up and what I personally like is I like its R2 charge attack, so you can charge it and then let off a big ass explosion. This is the one that I think you'll really, really like. This is the buzzsaw. This is the world. The what's it called? The world gig saw. This weapon is pretty cool. So in its R1, it's a regular club. This is its regular attacks. But it's L1, its transformation turns into a buzzsaw. It's L2. You can basically like, I'm gonna let you see. So it's L2 is like this, and you walk up to an enemy and just shred them.
I like that weapon. That has sleep over.
So this is the buzzsaw right here. You just lawn mowing niggas, just walking with this. I'm gonna skip this one. This one ain't very interesting. This is basically like a really long, like not long, but this is just a big wheel as a weapon, and it's, yeah, you could just do shit to niggas like charge it and then just wail on them. This is its default R1s. And this is transformed. Now I really don't know what the fuck is up with this transformation. It raises your attack, but okay, so it raises your attack. Apparently it's like cursed. It's in its cursed stage when it's like this. And what happens by tapping L1, you spin the wheel and it increases your attack power. No, you don't do that. You press L1. L1 spins the wheel, and the more you spin the wheel, the higher your attack raises, but your health drops. So you can just keep spinning it until it's like max and attack power, and you just wail on them. This is the bloodletter. So the bloodletter is it's a very emo type of weapon. It's R1 is just a regular. It serves as just a regular club. So there's nothing special about it. When it's transformed, you stab yourself, and it turns into this, whatever the fuck this is, and with this, it increases your attack power based on your stats, based on your blood level. So there's a special attack by holding L2. You can create like a frenzy. You can have like a frenzy state, but it puts other people in frenzy as well. And what frenzy does is once it builds up a certain meter, it depletes like half your health. So if anybody is around you and you do this move, it causes them to be frenzied as well. And after a certain period, that happens. So if you do like a couple of attacks here and there and you hit them, and if you do this attack afterwards, Like if you like hit them a couple of times and whatnot, and then you do L2, it will build the frenzy up meter up, and they're pretty much dead if they can't heal in time. But it also depletes your health, so you just got to be really careful about that, or have a high resistance to the frenzy. This is the amygdalin. I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's basically it's the arm of those things that you see.
The arm.
This is the arm of them. This is the arm of those things that are right there. Those creatures. This is the arm of it.
So you fought that before?
Yeah, you get to fight it. It's kind of like a mini boss. It's not a mini boss. It's a sub boss. You don't have to fight it, but if you want to beat it, you can. But you get its weapon, and its weapon is it's L2. It transforms into a scythe.
So why are there two of them there, man?
Well, that's like I said, it's a long story. It's a part of the story. Actually, I'm not even supposed to see them. But what this game does is that you see that little eye at the top right of my screen, the little eye that says 40 on them.
Yeah, I'm assuming you have enough to see.
Right, exactly. So once you have enough, they call it insight in this game, right? They call it insight in this game. And once you have enough insight, you get to see disturbing shit like this in the game that you wouldn't see regularly. So I wouldn't be able to even see that. If I didn't have if I had low insight, I wouldn't even be able to see that.
But would it still be able to attack you even though you can't see?
Yeah, it would still be able to attack me. Yeah. But this weapon acts as a scythe. It's transformed. It's just a regular club when it's in its default. But with the L1, it just... So it basically has like a mind of its own once you have it, and so it could just... Yeah. It's a good weapon. It's a good weapon. Then you got the Beast Claw. Beast Claw turns you into basically a savage. Now there's a combination, I'm about to do it now. There's a combination with the Beast Claws that basically turns you into a beast. And you have to equip like a special item. Let's see, which one is it? Oh yeah, it's B. Okay, so it's Beast Embrace. Beast Embrace turns you into a beast, pretty much. So if you have this equipped along with the Beast Claws, you turn into this. So I'm about to show you what I mean. And it changes like your whole attack patterns. It just basically turns you into a savage, pretty much. So you got the battle cry, which if you're surrounded by enemies and you release this, it pushes them back. But yeah, the downside to that is your defense is lowered a lot. That's the downside of it. But yeah, that's pretty much all of them, all the weapons in a nutshell, though.